Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the RWC Season 2. It's race number 7 and we're here at Suzuka. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, this race is going to be very fast. Still feel free to grab a snack or some drinks, but it definitely won't be as long as some of the other races we've had this season. The reason for that is that if y'all are familiar with Suzuka, y'all know it's a very high speed track. And y'all can maybe guess where I'm going with this. The higher displacement cars absolutely dominated during qualifying. Pretty much the entire first half of the grid is filled with our higher displacement vehicles. So this race probably will be very one-sided. The weather is absolutely phenomenal though. That's pretty much going to aid in the fact that this is going to be a very quick race. Also, Wyatt's Garage, yet again qualifying on pole. Honestly, we may have to make a new record just for him, just out of pole qualifying throughout a season, because I think he would easily take the cake for this season as he qualifies on pole yet again. We'll see if Chevy can finally get that C8 on a podium. They've been trying so hard this season and they've been doing a lot of things right. It's just strategy wise, it just fails to fall in their lap. They're just not having quite enough luck, if you will, to get that podium. But they will start the race in first. However, many of your other high displacement teams filling up the top 5 and top 10, as for example Audi, Lamborghini, Mercedes, a lot of them filling up that top 10 order. Now what does this mean for points? We'll have to see, as Toyota is still in the lead. Not too much of a cushion, however. They only have a 4-point lead from the second place championship runner, Team Audi, Jensen, their driver. However, the rest of the championship running teams, they do have quite a nice buffer. Pretty much both of those teams would have to get a victory here just to catch up to Toyota and Audi for that matter. So really, it's kind of starting to turn into a battle just between Toyota and Audi. We'll see, as I mentioned, we'll see if the other teams can catch up. There's still a few more races to go, but they pretty much would have to have almost a perfect rest of this season in order to win at this point. And what I mean by that is, like, Toyota and Audi both would not have to gain points, and they would. But anyway, green flag drops. Wyatt's Garage will lead us. Wyatt's Garage, Gills, and Isidro being your first, second, and third positions as we are underway now here at Suzuka. Jensen, Mystics closing out your top 5 as they continue through the S's. Just listening to the field drive by. Rice, actually, I forgot to mention, not having a good qualifier at all. Definitely very deep in the mid-pack. We'll see how he handles it throughout the race. It's one of 6 laps. Again, shortest race of the season. Since it's our first time, I believe, racing here at Suzuka. I can't remember if we raced here in Season 1, to be completely honest. So experimenting with the laps, not sure how long it's going to take, considering that this track is on the bigger side of tracks. So pretty much this race is an experimental race. So far very clean though, which is nice considering how our last race was at the Red Bull Ring, which was just absolute chaos. So it's very nice that this race so far is under a very, very clean opening lap, essentially making this a 6-lap shootout pretty much. So all the drivers single file as they come into the if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen the map diagrams. I don't quite remember exactly what all the terms are called, which is my bad. I should have did my homework before commentating this one. but nonetheless, as they come through the final chicane, back across the front straight, Wyatt's Garage, as usual, with that C8 Corvette. That thing is just flying as he is slowly starting to make a gap between him and second place Gills. But we'll see how long that lasts for. Pretty much your top 5 is unchanged. All drivers are in their same positions respectively. So we'll see. Wyatt's Garage cutting that turn a little bit. We'll see if that cost him. It seems to have, as Gills closes the gap on him quite quickly. So a bit of a driver error there. We'll see if Wyatt's Garage can defend though against Gills. Isidro now also closing the gap. So very quickly, this is becoming a 3, potentially 4-car battle now for position. As they all seemingly kind of close the gap on Wyatt's Garage after that mistake. So just letting the audience listen to the cars there as they race around the track. Now we're going to speak on behalf of Mercedes and Isidro after having a very strong start to this season. They are still in championship contention, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the race, they pretty much have to have a perfect rest of the season where their championship rivals would have to not score any points and for them to score all of them. Now, will Isidro, will Mercedes be able to do that? We'll see throughout the rest of the season now with not including this race, 3 races to go. Race number 8, race number 9, and then, of course, the championship race itself. So we'll see. We'll see what Mercedes will be able to do here towards the end of the season. But the same goes for Audi, same goes for Lamborghini and Toyota as well, who is actually your points leader so far going into this race. But we'll see what the finish is, because it doesn't seem that Rice is doing too terribly good here at Suzuka. If I'm counting correctly, he is still outside of the top 10, so he potentially might not get any points this race, which would definitely be detrimental to Toyota's lead. Mystics actually closing out the top 5, who is kind of having a tiny resurgence here towards the end of the season, getting his first victory of the season last race at the Red Bull Ring, just the last few couple of corners too, but it was a little controversial as it did come from a very aggressive last couple turn pass from not only Ferry, but Batter himself. There was a good bit of contact between those passes, so it was a little controversial, but it did stick. So that is another victory for Mystics and Team Aston Martin. And he's currently in the top 5. So I don't think he'll make like some underdog championship upset, but he will at least seem to finish the season in a much stronger position, given that he was the defending champion, or is the defending champion, excuse me. But so far, as the points look, he would pretty much have to win the last 3 races of the season in a row to even have a shot at retaining his championship. And to be completely honest, I just don't see Aston Martin doing that this season. So pretty much it's just kind of it's kind of just an image run for him, and Aston Martin just trying not to finish so low on the points standing, which so far he is doing a pretty good job climbing his way back up the points. So we'll see where he finishes this season, as now we are already on lap 4 of 6, just 3 more laps to go. So yeah, this race was definitely on the faster end, so we'll definitely have to make note of that for next season. We'll probably just do the standard 10 when we come back, and that should make it more of a standard length race compared to the rest of the tracks this season. Mystics currently under attack by Barth and Gal, kind of a 3-car battle for position there. Besnard currently in 9th, Davi closing out the top 10. Ramsey right behind him, looking to change that as Rice makes a move on Ramos moving up the field, which Rice desperately has to do as he does not have a lot of laps left to get into the points, so he needs to get into the points as soon as possible. Your 1st through 4th positions still unchanged, or excuse me, 1st through 5th, as Mystics is still defending Barth, so very nicely done by him. But yeah, so your 1st through 5th positions still unchanged in 4 laps. So killer job, pretty much by everyone, technically, defending each other respectively and holding their own positions throughout this entire race so far. Like I mentioned, still 3 laps to go, almost 2, as Wyatt's Garage is getting pretty close to the front straight yet again. And yeah, we'll see what happens, because I'm not entirely sure what the rule for pit stops is on this race, considering that it's so short. Obviously, I'm sure drivers can make pit stops if they absolutely have to, but I actually don't think it is mandatory for this race, just simply because it's so short and because it's an experimental race for this season. So Wyatt's Garage will cross the line for the 5th lap of the 6, just 2 laps to go, and again, the top end speed of that C8 Corvette is just unbelievable. Chevy did an amazing job making this race car, making it super fast. It's easily one of the fastest out of this entire grid. It literally just comes down to strategy. It's just Chevy's strategy that just is their Achilles heel, unfortunately. Jensen looking to make a move on Isidro as he is ever so slightly closing the gap against him, but also Isidro closing the gap to Gills. So while Wyatt's Garage is kind of running away here, the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is very much on between these 3 drivers. So it is no matter a battle for the lead, it is now a battle for the rest of the podium. So we'll see what happens here in these next few corners as Gills kind of gets his gap back from Isidro, and same can be said for him against Jensen, as he gets rather loose there going through that hairpin turn. As they come back to the high-speed section, that pretty much seems to be where the door opens for these cars, is this high-speed section, which obviously so, considering as I've mentioned several times now, that these are the higher displacement vehicles up at the front, so where they tend to shine is top speed and high-speed sections. So there they go. Gills actually pulling away from Isidro, but Jensen closing the gap on Isidro. So we'll see if Jensen will go for a move this time. He is pretty much right on his bumper. If he's going to go for it, I would think he'll go for it under braking, but he doesn't. He will stay in line. Very, very, very impressive restraint from Jensen on the same. Wyatt's Garage will enter the pits on the last lap. If I had to guess, it looks like it might be for fuel, but honestly, 13 liters, that should be enough to complete this final lap. So literally, as I was just mentioning, the play calls, if you will, for Chevy, just super questionable, as I'm pretty sure that C8 Corvette could have squeezed out this last lap with that amount of fuel. But nonetheless, the choice has been made by Chevy. They forfeit first place, essentially, and they give it to Gills on a silver platter. So Gills now in the lead, Isidro in 2nd, Jensen in 3rd. This will actually be quite a shakeup for the standings, as Toyota, as far as I am aware, will not be getting any points from this race. I still think that they have not made it into the top 10 yet. And so Gills and Isidro being on the lower half of the championship standings will pretty much catch up. They will catch back up with Audi and Toyota with these points. If anything, Audi will take the lead back from Toyota, just barely. But they'll take the lead back. Lamborghini and Mercedes will catch up, so they'll be back in contention. And Toyota, unfortunately, they're going to lose big here, not getting any points. Again, as far as I'm aware, I would like if we could see the 9th and 10th place position to see if Toyota may by chance be in the top 10. Jensen looking to get more points as he's on the inside of Isidro going into 100R. Unbelievable move. He secures it. That might look like an easy move, but you got to understand these cars are going at least 160 miles an hour into that high-speed turn, and for him to make that move so easily with so much control as a rookie, that was a beautiful move by Jensen. Very nicely done. So he will steal second place, so even more points for Audi. And wow, and would you look at that? So it seems Rice will just barely get into the points in 10th place, so definitely not a good drive for Toyota. He will try to steal 9th from Davi, but Davi will hold on. So Toyota will finish in 10th place, which is very unfortunate for Toyota because that means they will only get 1 point from this race. But points are points, I suppose, and the points we will look at right now. And there's definitely a big mix-up here.